this is Rick Kaselj from exercisesforinjuries.com. I wanted to answer a customer question, and I think it would be of benefit to you. The question is from Robert G, and it has to deal with the tripod of the foot. So Robert asks, I'm currently doing your Fix My Knee Pain program. I'm trying to concentrate on the tripods of the feet when I walk. I notice I naturally land on the inward part predominantly. Should I get some store-bought inserts so I can force my feet and ankles into the correct position? So Robert, this would end up being my answer is, the quick answer is I would not recommend going to the store and getting store-bought or over-the-counter insoles for your feet. What I would recommend is to work on trying to re-educate your body, your feet, your lower body to be in that tripod of the foot or of the feet, so that your lower body ends up being in better alignment. It helps decrease the stress on your joints, specifically the knee, and then allows you to build stability in that correct and good position. Now, if you're not too sure what the tripod of the foot is, what it ends up being 3 points on your foot. So if I have a seat, if I end up having a seat, and what I'm looking at is there ends up being 3 points on the foot that I want to work on. And that's where the foot ends up ideally being in the best position or most stable position in order to create the best alignment for your lower body, so your leg. So I'm looking at balancing on the first metatarsal phalangeal joint, the fifth metatarsal phalangeal joint, and the calcaneus or the heel. So if I look at them having this kind of triangle that ends up being formed. Now, what often happens with a lot of people is two things, and they will end up being toed out, and that toeing out affects that alignment of that lower body, increasing the risk or more stress on the knees. Other things is that flattening of the feet. So that toeing out and that flattening ends up taking us out of that ideal tripod of the foot. If I move the feet more, not perfectly straight ahead, a touch out, but I'm working on trying to be on those points, on those 3 points in the foot. And so ideally I would take your shoes off, take your socks off, and try to get that right connection of being on those 3 points on your feet. And this ends up being a great time. I know here in Vancouver, it's summertime, so the weather's good, the weather's nice, so it's easier to take your shoes and socks off and have your feet get better connected with the ground in order to provide a nice, stable platform, that tripod of your foot, for the rest of your leg and rest of your lower body. So work on trying to get that tripod of the foot and standing in that tripod of the foot. Other things that might end up helping is this collapsing of the foot ends up being a lengthening of this longitudinal arch in the foot. So I can get into that position and slightly shorten up that longitudinal arch and try to get into that tripod of the foot. Now, I will end up feeling the tripod a lot better if I'm on a surface, on like a flat surface. Now, this is a carpeted surface, so I don't feel it as well because there's cushioning that ends up happening in the carpet. But I'm on a harder surface, I can end up feeling that a lot better. And then the next thing would end up being, so I can shorten up that arch a little bit to get more on that tripod of the foot. I've moved my feet, if I'm toeing out, to being more, not perfectly straight ahead, a touch out, being on that tripod of the foot. And then the other thing is lightly externally rotating that tibia or that lower leg and externally rotating that the thigh or the femur. And that will end up moving me out of this collapsed position more onto that tripod of the foot. And then what I'll get you to do is, test out how it ends up feeling, or go squatting and see how your squat looks when it comes to how much you can lift with your feet flat and going into a squatting position and seeing how it feels and what you can lift, and then move into a good position where I've got good tripod of the foot. I've shortened up that arch just a touch. I've externally rotated a little bit the shin and the lower body, and then I end up going into that squat and seeing how much more powerful you are with a nice stable foot, good alignment with the knees and the hips, and seeing what the difference ends up being. It's a lot easier having a nice stable foot doing that squat moving as opposed to the toe out flat foot and that tripod being lost. So there you go, Robert. A little bit of a long answer, but I think it's as you kind of mentioned, it's something that I end up highlighting in the Fix My Knee Pain program, because people that end up lacking that tripod in that foot, it ends up putting unnecessary stress on that knee. And just like looking at my other Fix My Knee Pain and Fix My Shoulder Pain and the upcoming Fix My Back Pain programs, what you end up having to do is reshape that joint from the outside and in order to change that joint from a painful joint into a pain-free joint. And within the knee, getting that tripod and working on that tripod is a key thing to change that joint from a painful joint into a pain-free joint. So there you go, Robert. And if you or one of your friends or family members or colleagues end up having knee pain, you can refer them on to this video and they can look and check their tripod of their foot and to see if that will decrease the stress on the knee and get them on the right path to pain-free knees. So this is Rick Kaselj from exercisesforinjuries.com. Make sure to swing by exercisesforinjuries.com, enter in your injury or pain. There's a good chance that I end up having a video or article or interview on it. Secondly, if you're watching this on YouTube, head up above, hit subscribe, and what that'll do is every couple days you'll end up getting a video like this where I end up talking about injuries and pain, or I'll end up doing an interview or a video with one of my friends in the health and fitness field. Thirdly, head down below, hit like, or leave me a comment or question, and I'll do everything I can to get back to you. So this is Rick Kaselj from exercisesforinjuries.com saying take care and bye-bye.